welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Brundi, we got the free, not the free agent frenzy, the Frozen Frenzy coming up tomorrow actually, where all 32 teams in the NHL are going to be playing against each other in one day. We've got 16 games coming up, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Later in this episode, we're going to break all that down. But other than that, it's kind of been a slow week, or at least a slow weekend for any really new hockey news.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about it. We have no news. Well, I mean, there's news, but like nothing groundbreaking or stuff worth talking about. I will say though, with the Frozen Frenzy, we know it is tomorrow. It should totally be on a Saturday rather than just some, random ass Tuesday.
Totally.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If I'm not mistaken, I could be. I believe that the NBA regular season starts tomorrow as well.
There's no way. They're insane if that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow. So
Wow.
on the last day that the NHL had before the NBA started, and they're having to compete with them. We had one game today,
Yeah,
obviously because every team does play tomorrow. But then, like again, yeah, you have this arguably, I mean, one of the biggest days of the regular season in the NHL. Obviously, they market it, having all 32 teams playing one day. But you have it the same day as the start of the NBA regular season is it's an interesting choice that they made. Again, I think doing it like on a Saturday would have been perfect because then you could have had literally like, from early on in the day all the way through. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know why they didn't do that because who's going to be up watching some of these teams play at 11 o'clock on Tuesday?
Well, no, the first game doesn't start until what would that be, 6 o'clock Eastern time, so 4 o'clock for us. But like still, again, like it's cool having all teams play, but you have like 15-minute intervals for the most part between games, so it's like every team's playing, but it's also like
you can only watch one at a time, really.
Yeah, so many overlap ones. I'm pretty sure I want to say it's Amazon. They're doing a thing where it's kind of like covering all games that are ongoing and like showing highlights from each of them. But still, I think doing it on a Saturday would be sweet, and just having right from earlier on in the day all the way through, and then you could just kind of space the games out a little bit more, so you can kind of it's not all a whole bunch happening at once, and it's hard to kind of keep up with them. But regardless, it's still going to be a very fun day for any hockey fan to just enjoy watching every single team play all in one day.
Yeah, it's going to be fun regardless, and there. I was wondering if they were going to do a couple of kind of marquee matchups, some big rivalries and stuff like that, and it looks like for the most part they aren't. There are a couple kind of grudge matches, and you got Kings versus Knights, and you got the Sharks versus the Ducks and whatnot, but for the most part it does just kind of seem like random matchups. So
it really is, yeah.
At the same time, if it gets a couple extra eyes on it and it's just random teams facing each other, it can still be a good way to get a couple extra eyes on the product.
Exactly. And again, we're not saying we dislike this idea. We very much like this. This is just it's a great hockey day where you get to watch every team play. But there's such a better way that they could go about doing this.
Yeah.
But again, it's going to be very fun, very entertaining. What we've decided we're going to do is go through every single matchup, all 16 of them, and kind of talk just a little bit about each team and just kind of where they're at. And then we'll give our prediction for who's going to win each game, and then we'll see who wins. So, with that being said, should we hop right into the first of the 16 games?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we will be starting with pretty simple, the games that just start first, like the earliest games all the way through to the very late evening games. The first matchup we have is the Philadelphia Flyers versus the Washington Capitals. What are we thinking here? What are you thinking here for this matchup?
This is a fun one to start with because it's that first meeting of Ovechkin and Michkov facing off on NHL ice, and I know Michkov's already said in interviews that he's really excited for it, and he's super pumped for this game. I don't know how pumped he should be though, because I kind of see the Capitals beating up on the Flyers. I don't think they're going to dominate them, but uh, the Caps are 3-1-0 to start this year, and the Flyers are 1-3-1. They're the Flyers are looking a bit rough as of late, and the Caps look like they're heating up already. So, uh, yeah, Michkov, maybe he'll have a magical performance in this game. You know, be kind of pushed forward with that idea of I'm just assuming one of his childhood heroes, in Ovechkin out on the ice with him, that he's gonna ball out and really make a show of it. But I see the Caps probably winning this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm also I've already have kind of mine written down. I do have the Washington Capitals winning this as well. It is worth noting this is the only these are the only two teams that will be playing the following day on Wednesday. So back to back form. So maybe Philadelphia can squeeze out one win. But yeah, for the first one of the two, I'm gonna go with Washington. They've been off to a better start. I like the Flyers, but Washington has just looked like the better team. And in terms of goaltending, Washington has a huge advantage with that. So I'm right with you on that one. I'm also going with the Capitals. Next, the Minnesota Wild and the Florida Panthers. A very depleted Florida Panthers team.
I mean, Barkov hasn't played, Kachuk hasn't played in the last few games, but in their last 5 games, they're 3-1-1 without either of those two. So they're still doing fine, and they still look dangerous. They're at home. Kachuk's also expected to be back for this game. Yeah, I see the Panthers winning this. The Wild could pull it out, but I see the Panthers winning this one. They just got too much
Yeah,
skill in that team.
yeah. Like a part of me wants to go with Minnesota, but if I'm trying to beat you here and improve my overall record against you in terms of these, I gotta go with Florida. Like you said, regardless of who they've been missing, they've been doing really good actually. And that's not saying Minnesota's bad. I think Minnesota's very good. I
They
really
haven't,
like
yeah, they
Minnesota's
haven't
team.
lost in regulation this season.
Yeah,
They're
one
3
of
0
one of
2.
the few, and their goaltending has been like rock solid. It's been really good for them. Um, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm going Minnesota. I
He's
talked
going
myself
Minnesota.
into it. I originally had Minnesota on here, and then I changed it to Florida. But like, I picked Minnesota to begin with just because I like their goaltending has been so good.
It really has been.
That's really what I went off of. So you know what? I'll stick with where I was. I will stay with the Florida Panther or the Minnesota Wild. I'm going Wild.
All right, he's going
The
Wild.
boys are going Wild tomorrow. Next up. Oh, your matchup of the day, the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on this. And it is worth noting, for this one, Vasilevsky probably, well, actually he might, I don't know. He did get pulled today, so
I think
maybe
he's
there's a
gonna
chance
start.
he plays tomorrow.
I think he has to. There's no way he gets chased for the first time in 6 years.
I was gonna say when I got the
I think he's
The
been
the
pulled,
Sportsnet thing that he got pulled, I was like, he doesn't
and
get pulled. He
and
doesn't
I will
allow himself to get pulled.
and I will say he genuinely got pulled this time. He is the last time I would say he actually got pulled to relieve him with the backup was probably 7-ish years ago. It's happened two
It's been a
times in the
while.
past 5 years, and I could tell you I was watching both of those games, and it was not on Vasi. It was Cooper was like on the bench, like, no, this team doesn't deserve to have Vasi backstopping them. You get to deal with whoever's riding the pine here. Like it was
Yeah.
like waking up the team. This one he did get chased. That Pacioretty goal was really bad. The first two I don't blame on him at all, but either way, I see Vasi starting it. I don't think after that he wants redemption. He's not going to want to sit.
Well, and I think if he played if he played the whole game tonight and Tampa Bay wins, probably doesn't start tomorrow. But I think the
Yeah,
fact that, Tampa lost and he got pulled, I think is like the perfect opportunity. Like you can play him tomorrow now because he didn't even play the full game the day before. So it's like if you've got back-to-back games, are you giving more playing time to Vasilevsky or Johansson? I'd be shocked if you go with Johansson, especially against the Devils. So yeah, Vasi actually probably does start. Um, New Jersey's been off to a really good start as well. They are number one in the league right now, 5-2-1.
yeah, they got a lot of guys who are firing on all cylinders. Um, a weird amount of points from a couple of their defensemen as well. It This is going to be a really fun matchup. It's easy to say that as a Lightning fan, but like our offense is so high octane. They have so many fun young offensive players. Like this game could break down and be horrible for the coaches, but could be really fun to watch. Like this could easily be a 7-5 game or something like that.
Yeah, well, and I mean, New Jersey went, was it 6-5 the other day with Washington? I think Washington actually won that game. That's one of their
I think Washington won
big
in
wins
overtime.
under their belt. Yeah, this is one of the more, you know, I I don't even know the right word. Higher profile games, like one of the ones that's like, like if I'm sitting here and I'm like, fuck, do I want to watch, you know, Dallas and Buffalo that's on kind of around the same time, or Tampa, New Jersey? I'm picking Tampa, New Jersey because that's just a better game overall and is going to be way more exciting
It's
uh,
got good
than
teams in it,
quite a
but
few of the
both
other ones.
teams are
So
good. It's not
yeah,
you really it's hard to accurately predict this one. Like, the Wild are good, but, I imagine most people are going to assume the Panthers will win. Not to say the Wild can't, but like this feels like a toss up of who's going to win almost.
it really is. Yeah, it's one of those ones you really don't know who's going to win. You just know that it's going to be a very entertaining game, but I think we all know what you're doing, but I will ask you just to double check Tampa or New Jersey.
I am going to go with Tampa. Cuz I got to.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't blame you. I think it'd be weird if you didn't. In most cases, again, if I'm trying to be right and just predict as many as I could, I would go with New Jersey, especially if you know Tampa won tonight and everything. But going off the fact that Tampa already did play tonight, they did lose though. They're going to be pissed off. I think Vasi probably does start. I think Tampa's going to come out really strong and pissed off, losing to Toronto. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay as well. But really wouldn't be shocked if New Jersey wins. But either way,
Yeah.
this is going to be one of, I think, in my opinion, the best games taking place tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say.
They just need to play pissed off in the way that they played in the second half of the game. After Vasi got pulled, it was a 1-1 game for the rest of it. Like, each team scored a goal after that point. It's crazy how good we looked right after Vasi got pulled. The guys were skating harder. Like, they looked like they were skating because somebody said, you're going to get fucking fired. Like, our
Yeah.
fourth line out there. And our fourth line looked dog shit before that. Like, I was yelling at my TV. And then as soon as Vasi gets pulled, they're skating like crazy, and I'm like, you know, good now, but where the hell was that? 4-1
Yeah,
now.
should have been doing it before it got to the point where the game was at where it was at, for sure.
They've been doing it for every other game of the year. I don't know where they were in the first, but hopefully they bring it to New Jersey.
Yeah.
A game that we probably have less to say about. The next up is the Dallas Stars and the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, give me Stars. Buffalo's trash.
Sabres, the home team.
That literally does not matter.
KeyBank's a pretty tough barn to play in.
You could literally put Dallas in there against Buffalo, have it be sold out, all Buffalo's fans, not even Sabres fans, have it be Bills fans, because they're just absolute batshit crazy going through tables. And I would still pick Dallas every time. Until Buffalo can do even one impressive thing so far this season, I would be like, okay, maybe Buffalo, but
they have quite a few impressive players. It feels like the team almost has no chemistry. Is that crazy?
The team has no chemistry. It feels like no identity. Like
their identity.
I'm
right
sitting
now
here
is,
actually like, wow, they actually have 2 wins. I'm like, how?
Yeah, like their identity is Rasmus Dahlin's pretty good. Tage Thompson was good a season ago. Like that's pretty much it. They have young guys coming up. We'll see if they're good. Like
the thing is
I'd love to see them be good, but it's just keeps not happening.
Like you've got your top 3 scores in Tuck, Paterka, and Thompson. Okay, that's fair. That's very good. But when your next 3 is Jordan Greenway, Ryan McLeod, and Jason Zucker, fuck. I mean, 2 assists so far from Dylan Cousins, 2 assists from Dahlin, 3 points from Owen Power, 3 points from Bone Byram, Jack Quinn, 1 assist, Zach Benson, no points. Like, there hasn't been anything for me to get excited.
They've played, 7? Yeah, they played 7 games so far. Most teams have played 5-ish.
Yeah, and the Dallas Stars are coming in 5-1. I really can't even look at Dallas and be like, any specific player has looked bad. They're really not getting many points
As Nils Lundqvist
at all from
looked good this year. I know we were pretty hard on him in the playoffs, but
I thought he's looked good, and I've seen lots of other people saying that he's been looking good. Lots of other people are pretty high on him. So
hey, you know what? I'll take it.
He hasn't been putting up points, but he's been playing a steady game, and he hasn't been getting benched. So we'll give him that. But
that's
I'm going Dallas on this one.
I am very much also going Dallas. Like it's hockey. It's the NHL. Any team can win on any given night.
Yeah.
But
any given Tuesday,
you'd be crazy to predict it.
Yeah. Again, I it's not like I hate Buffalo. I actually really like Buffalo, and I want them to do good.
It's just tough watching them not.
Like, and if they start doing good, and I start trying to hype them up, and people say I'm not allowed because I was shit talking them, then that's fine. I'll secretly still cheer for them. But right now, there's nothing. There's nothing to be excited about with them. So, but if they won tomorrow, I would be thrilled, and I'd be okay being wrong in going with Dallas. But Dallas is a clear choice for me.
Yeah. The next matchup we got. This is a bit of a marquee matchup as well. That being said, I don't know how close it's going to be. The New York Rangers at the Montreal Canadiens. The Rangers are 4-1. Canadiens are 2-3-1. There's things to like about the Canadiens, more so than last year.
There's a lot to like about with the Canadiens compared to last year.
But the Rangers still look really solid. They've only lost 1 game, and that was in overtime. Granted, they only got to overtime because of a stanchion bouncing puck going into an empty net, but they don't ask how. Yeah, I don't got much to say on this. I mean, one team came in last in the Atlantic last year. One team won the President's Trophy. So, I'm going Rangers.
Yeah, I'm going Rangers. Again, I like a lot of things with Montreal. They're a much more entertaining and exciting team this year by far than last year. But like you look at the Rangers, they beat Pittsburgh 6-0. You did have that overtime loss to Utah, but like Utah was buzzing at the very start of the season. That was a 6-5 game. You beat Detroit 4-1. You beat them again 5-2. You beat Toronto 4-1. Like, aside from the Utah game, they're not really allowing anything in. And I really don't think Montreal is going to go out there and light up Igor for, 3 or more, really. And I think the Rangers are going to have no problem getting 3 or more against Montreal. So, again, Montreal is exciting. I think it's going to be a fun game, but yeah, really, like, it's just hard to justify picking Montreal against the Rangers.
Yeah, there's not much else to say. Like, they're just such a wag in that Rangers team.
Yeah, they're playing really good though. Like, am I the biggest Rangers fan? No, but there's no doubt that they've been one of the one of the best teams so far to start the season off. So
yeah, they're probably at least top 3, top 5. But
yeah, probably for me, yeah, I would probably say top 3.
Yeah,
I think they're top 3 for me right now.
I think the Jets' strong start is the only reason I wouldn't say they're number 1.
Yeah,
I think the top 3's got to be like Jets, Rangers, and Stars probably.
Yeah, Stars is 1 for me. Jets is 2. Rangers are 3.
But next up, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs at Columbus. So they also have a back-to-back with travel. Interesting note, currently, as it stands, since Columbus joined the NHL in the 2000-2001 season, them versus the Leafs are completely even at 19 wins for the Blue Jackets, 19 wins for the Leafs, and a tie. So they are over their franchise history, they are completely even.
Oh, speaking of completely even. All right, speaking of completely even.
All right.
You just saying that completely just reminded me. So I'm just gonna run down something here for you that the NHL put out the other day. I will say this is before because I believe this was on Saturday when I saved this. So this would have been before Washington's game. But I thought this was really cool. Throughout John Carlson's career, he's played 506 games at home and 506 games on the road. So completely even there. 263 assists on home ice, 263 assists on the road. So again, completely even for assists at home and on the road.
Wow.
1,180 shots on goal at home, 1,180 shots on goal on the road. So across, he's played 1,018 games or 1,012 games, sorry, in his career, and games played is split evenly, assists and shots on goal. So shout out to John Carlson for that, because that's pretty crazy across a whole 1,000+ game career and counting so far.
Yeah, that's really good consistency. There's no drop off in away games, and yeah, that's just also a cool stat. Like the shots, like that's crazy that those are.
Yeah. The assist, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, but the shots on goal, I was like, that's pretty nuts that they're that like completely even with each other.
Yeah, I figured one of those stats was going to be close. Like the shots was going to be within 10, but
that's what I thought. Yeah,
same is
the exact same. Going back to Columbus and Toronto, I don't know. I really don't know about this matchup.
Well, I tell you what, I do know about this matchup, and I think the Blue Jackets are gonna beat up on the. I think they're gonna beat up on the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. It does say on here that apparently Joseph Woll is expected to start tomorrow. Don't know if he actually will. Yeah,
don't know if they want him to. Stolarz has looked really solid.
Yeah, that's what I'm almost wondering, right? Is like, even though Woll's back, is like, you paid him and whatnot, but like, do you really pull Stolarz and put him in the backup role when he's been that good, or do you just say fuck it and we're running a tandem now? and you just take the Boston route with it and just split it right down the middle between them. And
I don't see
maybe
why
that's
not.
what Toronto needs. I think that's exactly what they need at this point, honestly. Keep your goalies fresh. And
Wool was a backup last year. He can be in a tandem this year. And in the future, if he takes the reins, let him be the starter. But right now, he is not the clear number one on the team. So I don't know why he should start the majority of the games.
wow. And that's coming from you, probably the biggest Joseph Wolf fan I know.
Yeah, the biggest
Well,
Joseph
aside
Wolf
from
fan since his mom.
Toronto fans, but sakes. Yeah, I'm going Columbus. This just feels like one of those games. It's like, yeah, Toronto's. I don't think it's necessarily
It's just the
Columbus is going
Toronto
to like
effect.
outplay them. I literally just think Toronto's going to find a way to lose.
It really is that, isn't it? Columbus is just one of those teams that they consistently find ways to just have the most spectacular goof 'em ups against. Like,
Yeah,
they just in the most epic way possible, it falls apart.
yeah.
And for a brief moment earlier tonight, I thought that's what we were getting with Tampa. It went 1-1. Nick Paul gets a breakaway pass, shoots it directly into Stolar's pad, only for the defenseman to dolphin dive into the puck and send it into his own net. Like,
Yeah.
I was so ready for them to crumble, but no, they came back strong. So maybe they were just putting it off for this game. Or maybe they'll ball out. Who knows? Frickin' Nylander played possessed.
Yeah, when he wants to just take over a game, he'll take over a game, and it did kind of seem like one of those nights. But part of me just looking, I'm just like, man, Columbus is going to find a way to win this game. Probably isn't going to be a super pretty win, but yeah, I think Columbus is going to win this in the end somehow.
Yeah.
They're going to find a way.
Yeah, and you know what? They've got a couple of guys that are having really good starts to the year. Igor Chinnikov and Kirill Marchenko especially are both really putting up good numbers for them. I think I actually picked up Marchenko in our fantasy league earlier today.
I saw someone picked him up, so yeah, it would have been you then.
Yeah, I grabbed him. Frickin' Cody picked up Broberg. I was gonna grab him at some point.
Well, we will get to St. Louis because they're in a big matchup, and yeah, Philip Broberg has been absolutely on fire for them. But we got to keep the train rolling here. Next up, the New York Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings. What are you thinking here? Mr. Lucas Raymond is a lock for the Hart.
Okay, I didn't say a lock. That being
Basically,
said, but they
assuming
do have,
Detroit made the playoffs, like we're expecting them to.
Yeah. I mean, they do still have the best reverse hitter in the entire league in Moritz Seider. So that's going to be nice. Obviously, Barzell's
sure?
going to try and hit him at
Oliver
some point.
Ekman-Larsson isn't getting up into the ranks after tonight?
If it happened after halfway into the game, I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah, he just ruined Gensel.
Oh,
But Gensel got him back later in the game.
Oh, that's good at least. Gensel was kind of ruining himself for a good bit.
But Detroit Islanders, I mean,
this is going to be a fun one.
I think this one, I want to say, like,
this feels
sorry,
like it's going to go to OT.
thing.
Something about this really says like this one's going extra time. This feels like it's going to be a close game. I don't have incredibly strong feelings.
OT
I don't have strong feelings either way, but I'm probably going with the Red Wings to win this one.
I'm going the Isles solely based that Ilya Sorokin's playing. And he's looked really good so far this year. That's why because both these teams really haven't gotten off to a great start and haven't been super impressive really in any regards. No. Yeah, I'm just going solely, and will be interesting to see the lines that the Islanders do roll with, considering now that Anthony Duclair we know is going to be out for quite a significant amount of time with a leg injury, so someone's going to have to slide in on that top line for the Isles. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Isles just because of Ilya Sorokin in net, and I think he has a very good chance to potentially steal this game.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, elite goaltenders do it all the time.
Speaking of the previously mentioned Philip Broberg, the St. Louis Blues, Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets are, what are they, one of two? Oh no, they're the only undefeated team left. And I did say they are currently 5-0. I said no team is going to go beyond 6-0. I said that's the max,
Fair
the
enough. You
furthest
were
the
right.
team's going to get. Winnipeg obviously still has a chance to do that by winning 2 more. I'm thinking
They're not
they
getting
get to
past the
6.
Blues.
I think they do. I think they're getting to 6.
Yeah, I want the Blues to win this, but the Jets are getting such good goaltending and they're scoring like crazy. Like it's only in 5 games, but like Hellebuck in his 4 starts has a 1.25 goals against average, and right now they're scoring at 4.8 goals per game. Like
Yeah.
it's a small sample size, but what's one more to add to that sample size? Like they're killing it right now.
Well, I mean, it's only 5 games so far, so like it's nothing crazy. Like they've only played 5 games, but they do have 7 players at a point per game or more already. So like that tells you they're getting lots of scoring from multiple guys.
Yeah.
They're getting good goaltending. I can't even say anything like, you know, anyone
44%.
listening.
44% on their power play. Like
Yeah.
unreal
Granted,
start.
they did play the Sharks and did whoop them, where they did get a lot from that, but still, yeah, other teams played the Sharks and they didn't do the same thing. Teams that I think have a bit more offensive talent than the Blues or the Jets. Sorry, um, I can't say anything bad about the Blues though. And like, if anyone's been listening, they know I'm not the biggest Blues fan, but I really can't say anything bad about this team so far in the season. It's really just everything's been going right for Winnipeg right now. And if Hellebuck's playing, like, I mean, it's tough not to just go with the Jets solely based off if Hellebuck's playing. He's just been that good.
And you know what? I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think their backup, the one game he played, did he get a shutout? Do they still have
No,
Eric Comrie? There's no way.
they do have Eric Comrie. No, he's actually got a pretty good. Let me pull it up here because I was just looking at it. He's only played 1 game. He's 1-0. He's got a 3 goals against average, but again, it's just because he played 1 game.
Okay.
But he does have a 929 save percentage. So
Yeah, they play a good
he
defensive
did his
system.
job. And that was against Pittsburgh. Fun fact
There you
there.
go.
Yeah.
We're both taking the Jets then.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind
Lock
of
it
have
in.
to. The Canucks at the Blackhawks.
Yeah, Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't even got off to a great start, but like it's the Canucks and the Blackhawks. Bedard might carry
Also,
him to a win, but I doubt it.
yeah, I just want I think it's Philip Kurashev. I think he's a healthy scratch tomorrow, or is going to be. He's
I
only got 1 goal in 6 games, so
did
not the
see
best
that
start for him.
their coach kind of put him on blast. It looked like he said we need more from Kurashev, which is rough to call out a young guy this soon into a season on such a bad team, specifically one dude. But yeah, I guess if they
Yeah.
want more from him, fair enough.
Um, again, really not much to say about this. I really just think
Yeah,
Vancouver's
this
the
one's
better
kind of a
team,
mismatch.
the better
Like,
the better goaltending. Yeah, I think it'll be actually. I think it'll still be a close game. Chicago's kind of just got that.
I don't even know if
It
it'll be
just kind of
close,
feels like
but
that
it'll
way.
be fun. They're
But
fun teams to
I mean,
watch.
in this for close, I mean, it's going to be like a 2-goal game or something, and like Chicago's still pressing. Like it's not going to be
Okay,
a
yeah.
runaway. I don't think. One thing I will say with the Canucks though is I'm very curious what their goaltending situation looks like when Thatcher Demko comes back. If things are progressing, still keep progressing the way that they have been going, because Kevin Lankinen has been like balling out for them, and Artur Shilovs has not. So
Yeah,
I'm very curious when Demko comes back. Like, what do you do with your goaltending situation? Because obviously Demko should be your guy as long as he can remain healthy and is able to find a way to kind of play through this injury that he's dealing with. Like, Shilovs was supposed to be their backup going forward. You grab Lankinen at the start of the season when Demko's not going to be good to go, and Lankinen's kind of emerged as their guy right now with Demko out. So interesting choices ahead for the Canucks, I think.
I feel good about Seelovs enough if I'm the Canucks that you maybe see if anybody wants to kick tires on Lankinen and, try and cash in while the value's high, because I don't see Lankinen really being a consistent starter. I think he's had a great stretch, but
as a backup, like you go with your better guy, right?
I think Seelovs is going to be the better guy. I don't think he is right now, not the way he's playing, and not especially because of the way Lankinen's playing. But I would have more faith in Shelovs going forward, and I also think if you were to try and move one of them in the next 2-ish weeks, I imagine you might get more for Lankinen the way he's playing. Not like they're gonna get a haul, but
I don't know.
A team like Colorado. If I'm Colorado, yeah, I'd throw a 3rd round pick to see if Lankinen can get us out from whatever Gorgiev's given him. What's his goals against average at now? 10? Like,
not good. It's not very good. I don't know. I'm high on Lankinen. I like to see him kind of stick around with the Canucks and keep just building off what he's been doing, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, long story short, yeah, I think we're both going Canucks here, right?
Yes.
2 down for the Canucks. No surprises there.
Absolutely none.
What do we got next?
We got the Colorado Avalanche at the Seattle Kraken.
Oh boy. Expected goaltenders Alex Georgiev and Philip Grubauer.
Oh boy.
Bet the over. Bet the over on this game. I'm going Seattle.
I think Colorado's Seattle until you said
depleted.
Georgiev. Or sorry, I was going to say Seattle until you said Grubauer. I do think I am still going to go Seattle, but I'm less happy about it.
I'm going Seattle. I mean, just like, Colorado can still score. Like, their top guys are getting it done, but they have like no depth scoring. And I like Seattle's a good team from their first line down to their fourth line. Like, again, Seattle really doesn't have that, elite superstar player or anything. Like, Colorado's got 3 of them. But Seattle's a much, much deeper team in terms of their forwards and their defense. So I think they're really going to capitalize against Colorado's depth to the point that, like, you need McKinnon, Rantanen, and McCart each have, 4+ points for you to have a chance to win this. So off Seattle's depth, I'm going with the Kraken.
Yeah, I'm going to join you with the Kraken.
It's a fun place to be here over in Krakenville. So I'm glad you made the choice.
Just doesn't sound like a great time in Denver at the moment.
No, especially if you're Alex Georgiev.
Yeah. Ross Colton has been putting them in the net recently, though.
All right. I mean, he scored against the Sharks. Let's not be like, he's shit. He's got 6 fucking goals.
6 goals on the season.
3 power play goals. Fuck, shit.
Yeah.
Good for -2 though.
He got Drew.
Power
he
play
got
merchant.
Druin's spot.
Power play merchant.
Point me to anybody in the league who isn't a power play merchant and also not named Cole Koepke.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you got me there. Yeah, like just Colorado's depth right now is just awful. Like with all the, I mean, I know they're very injury depleted, but it's like fuck. I mean, Ross Colton has kind of stepped up, but like just no one else has,
That's
and
not a
so I
guy
think
who
they're
should
just
be
having a
stepping
really
up on the
tough time.
first line.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next game, though, the Boston Bruins visiting the Nashville Predators.
Nashville's got to win at some point, right?
I've got Nashville winning this one.
Okay, because if you're a Nashville fan, don't listen to this next part. I just have to find it here. It's a very old stat that doesn't bode well for Nashville.
Uh-oh.
The Predators are the 18th team in the last 57 years, to start the season off with 5 consecutive regulation losses. Only 6 teams have made the playoffs in that time span in the last 57 years. 6 out of 17 teams, and not a single team since 1996. So odds aren't looking good for Nashville after a really bad start. I'm still believing that they're going to be the team to claw their way back and find themselves in the playoffs by the end. It's going to be tough. It's like it feels like it's a, you know, it feels like it's going to be a constant kind of uphill battle for them all season long. Like I don't think they're ever going to be in a spot where they're like, we're really comfortably in a playoff spot. Now it's like you're going to have to be fighting the entire season to make sure you finish in the playoffs. Like they got to win at some point. Did they do it against Boston? You have them winning.
I've got them winning. I am taking the Preds.
I'm going to ask you this, though. Is it because you truly believe Nashville is going to get this win, or is it just because of how much you hate Boston? Like, which is it really? Are you actually like, I fully believe the Preds are going to finally win a game?
I mean, I wouldn't feel confident picking either of these teams. But I am going to take the Preds. They have too much top-end talent to just not win a game. Like, they've got to win somewhere. I got to imagine they're getting more and more pissed off with each game. Like, they brought in so many guys. Like, Yossi's time is running out. He's, 33? He can't do this forever. If he wants to win a cup, he's got to do some stuff at some point. You know, Stamkos is a gamer. Marchessault's a Conn Smythe winner. They've got too many great talents to just keep going, fuck, here we go again. Eventually they're gonna freaking buckle down, lace it up, and say, no, we're gonna go out there and fucking win the game. And it's gotta happen at some point. So I'm gonna predict that it happens tonight.
Your speech inspired me. I'm joining the Nashville Predators wagon.
There we go.
I was 50-50. I was on the fence because, like, you know, Boston's good. They usually find a way to win against tougher opponents, but I was also like, Nashville's got to win at some point. Your speech did it for me. I will join you with Team Predators. Whoa, Team Nashville.
Team Nashville.
Let's just say Team Nashville. Team Nashville. We're on.
Yeah.
All right, let's just move on. Carolina Oilers.
I do have one other thing I want to say for Nashville Predators fans, and that is that in the 18-19, or I guess the 2018 off season, one of the biggest, not necessarily buyers, but one of the winners of free agency that year was the St. Louis Blues. And people were really excited for them going into the season. And then they played like dog shit. And
they were winners.
And they were bottom of the league. They made a couple of really good extensions. They made the Ryan O'Reilly trade. Who is it? They brought back Tyler
the Ryan O'Reilly trade.
They brought in Tyler Bozak. They brought back, who's the dude who came back like a million times? David Perron. When they thought, you know, he was gone and he came right back. They weren't exactly, it wasn't it wasn't the summer of Pierre or anything, but they had a solid offseason. People were excited. And then they were horrible. And then they ended up bringing it back, and the rest is history. They were Stanley Cup champions by the summertime. So, does it look good for the Preds now? Absolutely not. But stranger things have happened.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. It's tough to argue with facts like that.
Yeah, with randomly pulled facts about other teams.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, like I said, I still think Nashville's gonna they're still gonna make the playoffs. It's just not as easy for them, and they probably don't finish, in a spot where they get home ice advantage.
No.
But I definitely do think that this is still a playoff team. They're gonna find a way to get back into the mix. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, next up, Carolina Hurricanes, Edmonton Oilers.
This is
Oilers not
another
up
high
to
level good face off. Like both teams are
yeah.
solid, and this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, Edmonton Oilers not off to the greatest start, sitting 7th in the Pacific, only above San Jose, but only 2 points ahead of them. And Carolina, they've only played 4 games. Like they're one of those teams that really hasn't played a lot, so you haven't really gotten to see a whole lot from them yet. Like I think like it's going to be a very good game between these two teams. I think it probably ends up being a really high scoring game.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think just
probably.
because Edmonton has really had a hard time keeping the puck out of their net, and I feel like they're due for kind of an explosive, offensive performance. Being like, you know what, if this is how we have to win, we'll just go
McDavid
out and
hasn't really had that game
putt
where he
sixes.
just
So
McDavid hasn't had that game where he just takes over and racks up at least 3 points and just dominates on the ice. And
yeah,
it's freaking Connor McDavid. We're 6 games in. He's due for it. So yeah, I see a lot of goals in this one. As far as who wins, it's kind of tough, but I'm going to take the Oilers.
So fuck, these stats do not look good for Edmonton. They're
No.
through 6 games, their penalty kill 55. 55%. That's dead last in the league. Their
I should
power
hope
play,
so.
6.7%. That is 30th in the league.
Well, that makes me feel better about Tampa Bay's special teams. Let me tell you.
San Jose's power
Holy.
play is better than Edmonton somehow. Their penalty kill is better than Edmonton's. I'm not going to say somehow for that because, yeah,
They have Adam Henry.
penalty kill is weird, but like power plays, that's where they're not, executing, and that's what's really hurting them because,
That's
as
where
good as they
Bouchard
were
gets his
last year,
cookies.
yeah, as good as they were last year, a constant thing with the Oilers was they live and die by that power play. Like if their power play is not buzzing, they have a tough time at 5-on-5. It's a tough one.
I'm
kind of leaning Oilers with you though.
I'm leaning Oilers. I don't really like it, but something about it just feels like I'm gonna see an Oilers W tomorrow. The Hurricanes are a really solid team, more consistent goaltending, better defense, but I don't know. It just feels like the Oilers are due.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like I'm just looking at it and like fuck, that power play's got to break through eventually. So yeah, I'm going Oilers, but this game is really a toss up. It's going to be one of those really kind of close games that's just unpredictable to kind of really see a team having a clear advantage. Like that's crazy to say with the Oilers, but like right now I'm like you're always having an advantage with McDavid, but really hasn't done Edmonton any good so far, really.
Yeah.
It'll turn around eventually, but right now we're not seeing it. So
Yeah, we're not. It'll come. Like, there are some players that can cool off and have a down year. McDavid's not one of those guys.
yeah,
And if he
no.
does, it'll be because he puts up 125 points. Oh no, what a bum.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
But
What's the next one we got?
next, we have the Ottawa Senators at the Utah HC. And before we talk about it,
Utah Hockey Club.
I just want to say I'm seeing some people online, and I'm seeing some people saying that Utah Hockey Club is growing on them. I want you to stand your ground and not forget that's fucking dumb.
Oh, like the name?
Utah Yeti sounds sick. There's too many people saying Utah Hockey Club sounds cool. It sounds
Like the name. Oh, I thought you meant like
yeah,
the team's going on.
the
Oh, the
name.
name.
No, the
Ew.
name.
Ew.
They're like, it
No,
sounds
yeah, I'm
clean.
not.
It sounds professional.
I ain't on board with that.
It sounds like they should be going 0-82 every year, and then they get relegated to the extra liga.
Yeah, I don't like the name. It's the same as when Washington in the NFL, they changed their name to the Washington Football Team. It's like holy fuck. Like this, like really, like yeah.
If you know that you
I
have
don't
to
like
change your
it.
team name or you're gonna have a new team, how is a name not one of the first things you do?
Exactly. Especially when going
If
into the
I'm a
season,
billionaire
they
looking to get a
said they
franchise,
basically had the name.
yeah, like if I'm a billionaire trying to get a franchise, I come up with a name before I buy a team. Because like
Yeah.
it's a bragging right for a lot of these billionaires. Like what's the point if you look like a schmuck and you have no marketing?
Well, and it came out basically when they, kind of near the start of the season when they were like officially going with Utah Hockey Club. It was because they wanted to, sell uh, Utah Hockey Club merch and get sales for that, and so people buy a bunch of that stuff first season, and then you go to your, Utah Yeti or whatever name they end up deciding to go with, and then all your fans buy that stuff as well. But it's like you can't even buy Utah Hockey Club jerseys until January, anyways. Like you're not even able to out of the gate. So yeah, the name's not growing on me. It never will grow on me. Uh, like
It
their
doesn't
color
sound as
template
dumb
they've got
anymore.
is
It's still
sick,
not
but
good. Like
yeah,
it's not
no.
good, but it's not as abrasive as it first was. But yeah, just as soon as I rethink of the Utah Yeti or whatever it might be, we're all pretty sure it's gonna be that. But that sounds great. So
Like yeah, it would have been sick if they went like Utah Yeti, but like I would take Utah Hockey Club over like what was some of the shitty ones like Utah Venom,
the Mountaineers.
the Mountaineers. Like yeah, I'd rather just have Utah HC at that point. Um, but with this game,
What was it? The Utah Powder.
yeah, the Blizzard would have been cool though. The Utah Oreo Blizzards, the Utah
Yeah,
Brownie Batter Blizzards,
they
man,
should have been the one with the
would have
Oreo
slapped.
sponsor.
Yeah, missed opportunity there.
Oreo loves some milk though, so
That is very true. One of my go tos. Going back to the game though, Ottawa, Utah. Where's your head at going into this one?
uh as far as knowing what's gonna happen here, absolutely shoved up my own ass. I don't know what the Senators are, I don't know what any of this shit is, and I'm scared. Dude,
What?
this team breaks my brain every year like clockwork, and I hate it. Like
They really
they
do. Yeah,
they will
I do hear
go
what you're saying.
they will go to play Montreal and they will get shit rocked by a bad Montreal team, and then they will shit all over the Lightning. And the Lightning look good in these games, but the Senators will outplay them playoff hockey style, and I'll be every year without fail. They show up against the Bolts, and I'm like, this Sens team is for real. And then their next game's against Columbus, and they get beat 6-1, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I just don't know. This team is so confusing to me. I I the I guess Utah. They're 4-1-1. They're undefeated at home.
I'm going
Th-
Ottawa. I really don't have a reason. I'm going straight off vibes. Um,
Fair.
yeah,
That's all I can go off.
yeah, I really don't have a reason. Like both teams um, have. I mean, they've been doing good. Like Ottawa is 3-2. Again, they're only through 5 games, but like you your first game, you beat Florida. You do lose to Montreal. You beat LA in a clinic 8-7. You lose to New Jersey, like that's fair. And then you beat Tampa. So it's like fuck. What? Yeah. What are you? Really don't know what to make of this team. Their power play is just
Filthy.
juicy right now, going at 38.1%.
I think they got either 3 or 4 against us. Like their first shot on net was on a 5-on-3.
Jeez, yeah, can't have that happen.
Yeah, that was
Um,
nasty.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Ottawa off vibes, of good times and vibes.
That's fair. Like they've been playing really well, and I'm still gonna go Utah. I I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of them. I like the team that they made up. I like the bold moves that they made in the off season. You know, they got this new team. They want to make a bit of a show of it, and they got some good
Bit of a show
players.
without a proper name or logo, but yeah, like go
Yeah,
off
more so
Utah.
like what the GM did, not the
Yeah,
overall franchise. But
yeah,
yeah, I like what they got going on. Captain Keller's going to take them to a victory.
yeah. I think I can't even be like, oh, you're wrong because I really don't know who's gonna win this one. I think this game could end up being just an absolute train wreck
It
on
could be
both
a
sides
train
of the
wreck
puck.
or a
So I'm
classic.
I'm
Like
just yeah.
they're both wild card fringe playoff teams, just in
Yeah.
different conferences.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess, and I can't wait for it.
You
Who do
wanna
we
you
got
wanna cover
next?
this next one?
Oh yeah, I just don't have it pulled
Oh,
up
I
at the
thought
moment.
I thought you still had it. I want know you wanted to talk about your favorite guy, Adam Klapka, because we got the
Oh
Pittsburgh
yeah, baby,
Penguins
let's do
and
it.
the Calgary Flames.
I mean, Flames have been buzzing. No one thought they would, and they're doing it right now. They're looking good. Um, I'm going Calgary. I just looked. Dustin Wolf's expected to be the starting for him. If that's the case, I'm riding with Calgary. I think they've just looked good. They're 4-0-1. I think they could easily be 5-0. Um, Kadri absolutely sank them in overtime against Seattle with whatever he was trying to do, cutting up the middle like that instead of just making sure the puck got out of their zone. Um, and Pittsburgh, kind of up and down, really haven't established themselves. You know, in any way. You lose 6-0 to the Rangers opening night, but then it's like, all right, you bounce back the very following night and you whoop Detroit 6-3. Then you lose to Toronto 4-2, but it's like, oh, now we just beat Montreal 6-3. And then you beat Buffalo 6-5 in a comeback win. And then you lose 4-1 to Carolina, 6-3 to the Jets. Admittedly, very good teams, but kind of a streaky team. Don't really know what they're made of. Whereas with Calgary, we've seen them beat good teams. We've seen them hang in there with good teams so far this season.
I will say,
They just kind of look like the real deal at the moment. I don't expect it to last, throughout the entire season, but right now
so
they're balling.
one thing that I will say is that whichever way this ends, I think this is going to be a high scoring game. This very well could be the highest scoring game of the day because the Penguins have allowed the most goals in the entire league so far at 31 goals.
Oh
Um,
damn!
at a brief look, it looks like the Avs are second with 29.
I was gonna say, how is it not Colorado? How many
Um,
games have they each played though?
7 and 6 for the Avs. So the Avs have
Oh,
played one less game.
so the Avs would have more if they played one more game. They would have allowed
Averaging
the
out,
most.
yeah,
You can't tell me in their next game, like tomorrow, that Georgiev's not going to allow uh, less
at
than
least
3.
3, yeah. Um, but as it stands, they've allowed the most goals, and they are tied for second for goals for, by the looks of it. I'm seeing the Devils with 27 goals for. Also, the Devils have played 8 games. Um, and the Penguins are tied with a couple other teams at 24. So they're scoring a lot of goals,
So
but
you've been
they're
you've been
letting
getting
in even
entertaining
more.
hockey in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Pretty much, because, well, actually, is the game in Calgary? Yeah, the game's in Calgary, but yeah, the Flames have been scoring quite a few goals too. They are at 20 goals in 5 games. They're not allowing a lot of goals, but if Pittsburgh's scoring them, they're getting scored on, so they're gonna have to outscore their problems. It kind of looks like right now. So
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah,
I would definitely take the over on this game.
but who are you picking? That's what we're here for. We're here
I'm
to know
taking
who
I'm taking the
is winning
Flames.
this fight. They're going Flames too.
The Flame, the
Yeah,
vibes are freaking on, man.
and they
Huberdeau's
they, they
back.
haven't done anything to show me that like that they're not a contender. Like, you know what? How many teams, like we see teams every year that come out of nowhere and just they don't have the greatest roster, but kind of like Nashville last year.
Nashville last year. That's what I was thinking.
Nashville's in a position that kind of Calgary was supposed to be in, and
Just kept waiting for them to fall off. They
yeah,
sold it. They barely made the playoffs last year, and they sold.
yeah,
So surely they're boned this year. Oh, okay. I guess they're just good.
yeah, yeah. I'm going Flames until that drop off happens. Like I'm a believer in what's going on over there in Calgary. They're just doing it by every man stepping up and just going hard, and it's working for them. You got to respect that when the boys are all on the same page like that.
Yeah. I think this one's going to go to like overtime, but I think it's going to be like a 6-6 overtime. Like, I think this one's going to be a barn burner.
I could get on board with that. I think that'd be fun.
Don't watch
It'd be
it if you're a
entertaining. It'd
huge
be
fan
chaotic.
of goaltending.
Yeah.
It's going to get rough out here. We're going to see 4 goalies play in this game.
Next up, we have the Sharks and Ducks. I mean, like this.
An early Western Conference final.
Western Conference shitter. Both teams really I mean,
Yeah.
like Anaheim's 2-1, but like I'm not even impressed by them really still so far. Like you beat San Jose, you beat Utah in overtime, you lose to the Avs, you lose to the Kings, you lose to the Golden Knights. Can't really get a read on this team. Their power play tied for 31st at 0%. So you had to have scored
at
a
least they're
power
not
play
32nd.
goal.
That's good.
They're averaging the least amount of shots on goal out of any team. Worst in the league in faceoffs. Shots on goal allowed, they're 32nd. They're allowing 35.6 shots against per game. Like they're 2-1, but they don't excel at anything. I mean, the Sharks, they suck. They don't excel at anything. Well, actually, their power play has been kind of somewhat good for the talent they have, but again, like they don't excel at anything. So you're really just looking at 2 dog shit teams just meeting in the middle for a battle, and a battle that really could go either way. That's my take on this dumpster fire matchup we got.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. Yeah, there's not really a ton to say about it. We can't even be hyped about watching Celebrini play. Looks like he's going to be out for another 2-ish weeks. Hopefully it's a fun game to watch, though. Hopefully we get to see some good young talent play. I will say that Leo Carlson has been really fun to watch so far this year. He's already had an incredible overtime winner. I'm trying to remember who it was against, but
Utah.
There we go.
Utah.
And he almost got about as nice of an overtime winner against the Avs in their next game, but got pickpocketed at the last moment. But that's about the bright spot.
That's all you got to go off of.
That's pretty much all.
For how much fun he's been.
You know what? I will say.
He scored a goal and almost scored a goal.
I will say, Lucas Dostal, actually, we're doing him a disservice. He has a 931 on the Ducks. I know it's a small sample size.
Kind of balling out.
A 931 on that team. Radko Gudas is their captain, man.
He has been good, I will say, though. Remember, Anaheim is allowing an average of 35 shots against per game.
That's bad for him.
Well, it's not necessarily because it can help. There's two sides you can look at. You can look at it on the side of like, yeah, he's facing a lot of shots, so it's more difficult for him. But at the same time, it also kind of does help to elevate his numbers because even when he allows like 3 goals against per game, he's still got a good save percentage. And
I think that makes
and
it more
whatnot.
impressive because he's only letting in 3 on 35 shots. Like, it's the Ducks. I
But
don't
it
think,
depends. Are you playing
but they're
the
not playing like the
Blues?
Jets. They're not
Like,
playing like the Jets. It's not a bunch of
yeah.
perimeter shots getting through. Those are decent chances. Like, the Ducks don't play this incredibly sound defensive game. I'm assuming. I don't watch a lot of them, but they're a young team. They got a lot of high upside offense guys. I I don't think they're playing Tortorella lock it down hockey.
No, like I'm still saying he's been playing good. Like I'm not saying Dostal's been bad, but like
Yeah.
it is something to take into account. Like yeah,
Yeah. I
like
think
he
it's
put up
more that
he had very good numbers
he's
against
getting shelled and he's withstanding it. But
like
I see what you're getting at for
he
sure.
put up good stats against LA. Can't discredit him there. He did have the shutout against San Jose. A shutout's cool, but again, like you did it against San Jose, so you only get 0.5 out of 1 point for that in my book. Utah, I mean, 4 goals against on 30 shots. Not a very overall great game for him there. It happens. That's fine. And then Colorado, you allow 4 goals against, but you faced 49 shots. So, 4 goals against isn't great. But again, like, hey, yeah, you did face 49 shots and you only let 4 in. So, do got to give stick taps for that. So, he has been very good so far. Potentially could put up another shutout tomorrow against a Sharks team that, doesn't score goals very well.
Yeah.
I mean, they did have 4 against. You're fucking making moves right now. He just grabbed Dostal for tomorrow, which means his curse is going to happen, and San Jose is going to light him up tomorrow. So hammer Sharks to win. But Sharks, they did put up 4
Probably.
against the Blues. They did get shut up by the Ducks. They got 2 against the Stars, 2 against the Blackhawks. They did get 3 against the Jets with Connor Hellebuck playing, and then
Massive.
1 against the Avs. But Georgiev was not playing in that game, so can't fault them there. Probably going. I mean, if you like young talent, it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a very chaotic kind of game. Like, not a lot of like.
The structure is going to be rough.
Yeah, the structure of the game is going to be just not great. But you've got lots of young up and coming players, which I think will kind of offset to help make it more entertaining. I'm doing the homer pick. I'm going with the Sharks. I think they finally get their first win on the season. Them and Nashville are the only ones left without a win.
That's actually what they actually don't have a win yet.
No,
That's
they have
genuinely
2
shocking.
overtime losses though.
I've only watched 2 of their games, but they looked good
rookies.
in both of them. I guess I watched both their overtime games. But
yeah, well, even in the the St. Louis game, they looked actually really good. The Dallas game, actually, they did look good in both those games. So
Blackwood looked really good in the Dallas game. But
yeah,
I'm going to take the Ducks on this one.
Fuck you.
I'm going to take it solely.
Show yourself the door.
I'm going to take them solely because Macklin Celebrini isn't there, and that guy is going to be the Ducks' boogeyman.
When the Sharks don't win tomorrow, I don't want you to even text me. I don't want you to say, "Hey, Sharks got to win." I want you to sit there and just think about, man, I picked the Ducks. I'm the one sole person on this planet who thought the Ducks would win this game. Fuck out of here
the
with
Sharks.
Yeah, but I'm allowed to.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I'm allowed to pick them because I'm stuck in this misery. I've already made this decision to support a franchise that has sucked so much the last couple of years, and I'm going to continue doing it.
Yeah, but you made that pick when they were good. Kind of.
Kind of right when they were starting to come up.
Yeah, we kind of both did. We were kind of bandwagon fans, but we've been bandwagon fans for like 20 years.
Yeah, Ducks probably do win, honestly. But hey, you never know. Crazier things have happened. Moving on to the final game of the 16, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Los Angeles Kings. I think it's in LA though, because this is a late one. Like this starts 11 p.m. on the
I'm
East
seeing
Coast.
Kings at Golden Knights.
Okay, it is in Vegas. 11 p.m. over on the East Coast. Fucking outrageous. This is why you should do it on Saturday, starting from 1 p.m. Eastern, and you do your, 15-minute intervals or 30 or 20 or whatever. So it's not, you know, like 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night on the East Coast. That's nuts.
I don't know. At least it's good that it's Vegas, I guess. Vegas fans are probably like still at the casino. I don't know. Like, yeah, dude. Have it on a Friday, a weekend, or have it earlier. Like,
Yeah,
that's just weird.
The Los Angeles Kings are 3-2-1. The Vegas Golden Knights are. Oh, the Kings are 3-1-2. Sorry, the Golden Knights are 3-2-1. Very similar records. The Kings have a +2 goal differential. Golden Knights have a +3. So very evenly matched teams so far in the season. Neither team really looks like they have the competitive edge, if you want to say it that way, in terms of anything.
Yep. There is one thing that separates these teams, and that is what I am going to pick my winner of. I am going to pick the LA Kings to win this matchup.
Oh,
and that is
do tell.
And that is because they are on a 2-game win streak, and the Golden Knights are on a 3-game losing streak.
Ooh, tough to be a Golden Knights fan.
Yeah, they're in shambles right now.
In shambles. Yeah, I mean,
that's all I got. They
you know
look
what?
so
I mean,
even.
fair enough though. Like
they're both great defensively. Like
the top. Really, the thing is right now so far. Again, very early in the season, but the Kings are kind of still have that identity of like by committee, right? You're kind of the Seattle mentality. You run everybody and everybody chips in. Whereas with Vegas, it's like, is our first line going to win us the game or
where are my dogs at?
Or what? Because Eichel, 10 points in 6 games. Mark Stone, 9.6 games. Barbashev, 8.6 games. Shea Theodore on the back end does have 7 points in 6 games. But then, Hurdle, only 3. Howden, 3. There are 3 goals, though. Kolesar, 3 points. Olofsson, 3 points in 4 games, though. But he does have 3 goals. So, like, it really kind of is just like, if Vegas's top line shows up, they're winning. If they don't pop off, they're not winning. But yeah, I'm going with the Kings as well. I like the way the Kings have been playing, and it's just kind of been that next step mentality with the injury to like Drew Doughty and whatnot.
Yeah.
I like the way that the team is just kind of rolling and
Lafreniere has really stepped up in the last few games as well.
Yeah, you are right. Actually, he's one of the guys that has really elevated his game. Which again, he is a guy that we talked about, doing our offseason review, that he could be a big part of this team, and they're expecting him to take that next step. And early signs point to that for him. Worth noting, Brant Clark, 4 points in 6 games. Alex Turcotte, is he finally breaking through? 4 points in 6 games. We're talking that this is kind of his make or break year because he signed that ridiculous 3-year deal for under $1 million per year as a former 5th overall pick.
If he really breaks out in the next 2 years, that contract alone might open them this 2-year cup window where
which is kind of where they're at.
A point per game guy for free, and they're like, we got to cash in on this even if we don't have the rest of the team ready. Like, might as well.
Yeah.
I think the Golden Knights are going to finish the season very possibly ahead of the Kings, but I got the Kings winning this one.
I feel like it's kind of like these two are. I would love to get another playoff matchup between these teams. I really would, but
Yeah.
it's kind of unrealistic because I don't see either team winning this division to play the other team that finishes in a wild card spot. And with Edmonton and Vancouver, I really don't see these two teams finishing second and third. So, like,
Edmonton's below the
I would
Ducks.
love a yeah, but they were below the Ducks. They were below so many teams last year.
Dostal's not going to let them pass, though.
Like, I would love a playoff matchup between
The
between
Kings
the
and
Ducks
Knights.
the Kings and Knights. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be really fun, and it would be fun to see the Kings in the playoffs not just getting torched by McDavid and Draisaitl every year.
yeah. I'm kind of sick of that. I'd like to see something new. This would be a new, fun, fresh matchup. But
It's one of those things that if you told me the idea, if you pitched it to me, I would say it's awesome. Give me the rivalry matchups. Now that I've experienced it,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, never mind. Playing the same team, even like 2 years in a row, fucking blows. No team should ever play another team 3 years in a row in the first round. Like
especially with like the
that's
same
just lame.
seeding, like them being the 2 and 3.
Yeah, like it. That's
Like
just
it's shit.
that's just
You
lame
can say
ass.
it. You can say it.
It's shit.
There you go.
Yeah, let them
But that
know.
is the final of all 16 games that will be going on tomorrow. Just a quick recap. We both have the Capitals over the Flyers. You have the Florida Panthers. I have the Minnesota Wild. We both have Tampa Bay over New Jersey. We both have the Stars over the Sabres. Both have the Rangers over the Canadiens. Both have the Blue Jackets over the Leafs. I have the New York Islanders. You have the Detroit Red Wings. We both have the Winnipeg Jets. I was going to say New York Jets. Winnipeg Jets over the St. Louis Blues. Both have the Canucks over the Blackhawks. Both have the Kraken over the Avalanche. Both have the Predators over the Bruins. Both have
Crazy
the
fools.
Oilers over the Canes. I have the Ottawa Senators. You have the Utah HC Hockey Club. We both have the Flames over the Penguins. I have the Sharks. You have the Ducks. And we both have the LA Kings over the Vegas Golden Knights. So, what was that? Like, there's
Surprised we didn't have
five.
more different picks.
Well, but the thing is, like, some of them was kind of like, you could go rogue and be like, I'm going to pick the different team, but it's like, why? It makes no sense to pick.
Yeah, I mean, some make sense, but like we both picked Columbus to beat Toronto. We both picked Nashville over Boston, Seattle over the Avs. Like,
Well, I was going Boston. You talked me into Nashville. You
that's
you
true.
pulled me on the bus and said you're staying. I said, all
I
right.
I did rally the troops a little bit on that one.
You did. That is your fault.
I started talking about Stamkos, and I got really passionate.
It looks like we have only 4 differences between
Wow,
our picks, but those
we're not
4
so different in the end.
are going to potentially be the difference makers there. So,
They better be.
you know,
I want a definitive winner and a
yeah,
loser.
there is a chance actually that we could end up tying because we would need 5. We need an odd number of games where we're picking different sides. So there is a chance we could end up tied. What should the tiebreaker be? On if that does happen, if we end up actually having, the same amount of predictions correctly.
Okay, if it does go to a tiebreaker, I will say, since you picked Tampa Bay with me, but I did not pick San Jose with you, if you accept, I will have the Sharks Ducks game be the deciding game if it ends up being a tiebreaker after all of them.
Oh, fine. Um, I don't know if I have faith in the boys that much. Um, wow.
Or if you
I
want,
did that. I did not
you
think you
can
were
pick
gonna
another. You can pick one of the other games that we
see. But
disagree
like
on.
if I'm gonna do it that way, I'm just gonna live and die with the boys in the Bay. Um, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. If we
He's
end up
doing it.
with the same number of correct predictions, the tiebreaker will be who's on the winning side of the San Jose Anaheim game. I don't like my odds for that, so I really hope
Well, now
I've
my
wiped my hands clean. I'm like, all right, I've already walked away with the dub and don't have to stress about that one. But
My rep on the podcast is on the line, and my fantasy week's on the line with that game now.
Sharks are winning, baby. I'm calling it. They're getting their first win on the board. Can't wait for it. But
I want the Sharks to win 1-0 in a shootout over Dostal with like 90 shots.
have you seen the Sharks play? But
He's gonna lose with a 980.
Yeah, it very well could happen.
Honestly,
based on how poor the Sharks team is.
The Sharks look bad defensively, but when they get in the offensive zone, they got some fun guys to watch. Eklund is so fun to watch.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be really special when he's playing with Celebrini. Unfortunately, we get to see that magic for. Yeah, he's also been firing. Like those are the two guys that were supposed to be playing with Celebrini, and they all looked great opening night, and it just hasn't felt the same without him after only that one game. But when they were out there, they were such a threat.
He was the best player.
As a trio.
Yeah, and he was the best one out of the three. Like you'd really expect Toffoli, a guy who's put up 60, 65 points in a season before in the NHL. You'd expect him to be better than a literal 18-year-old, but
yeah,
Celebrini was the best one that at least that night.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. But that does wrap up this episode covering, kind of a preview for the NHL's Frozen Frenzy taking place tomorrow. Or if you're listening, you will be listening to this if you are on the day of release. It's a little preview of all the games that are to take place later today. Braden, any final words before we go get some well-earned beauty sleep before a bunch of big games tomorrow?
Oh, I hope the Bolts show up better than they did in Toronto. Columbus is going to beat up on Toronto. Preds are going to get their first win.
I love it. If you want to talk hockey with us at all during the crazy day tomorrow or any other days after that talking hockey, you know where to find all the links to our socials. They are down in the description on all episodes. With that, we are out of here. We've gone through every game. We're looking forward to them. I'm looking forward to them, Braden. Are you?
They're going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I wish they were going more throughout the day, but we'll take what we can get.
We'll take what we can get.
We can watch hockey until freaking like 2 a.m, apparently. So
yeah, that you can. So we hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoy all the games tomorrow, like we will. And we will be back to discuss all the results from the games on Friday when we find out which one of us is victorious here. That's it.